Live right here on the early line on SportsGrid. It's time to set up a new week in Major League Baseball on this Monday. An 11-game card around the bigs on this Monday in MLB. We start in Milwaukee between the Dodgers and the Brewers, two top teams in their respective divisions. Milwaukee now a 7.5-game lead in the National League Central. The Dodgers a 3.5-game advantage over the surging and red-hot San Diego Padres and Arizona Diamondbacks in the National League West. Clayton Kershaw gets yet another start tonight on the road in Milwaukee against the Brew Crew. The Dodgers an ever so slight favorite, minus 112 on that money line. Total is 8. What do you like in the opener between the Dodgers and the Brewers?
To be honest, this is going to be interesting because you do see LA as a favorite. They're primarily a favorite each and every time. You just see the name Clayton Kershaw, like, oh, that's good. Freddie Peralta, not as good as Clayton Kershaw. But the questions certainly come up on how good Clayton Kershaw is going to be down the stretch for the Los Angeles Dodgers. But I see that 8 number here, and I really want to go over. Forget about what Kershaw has actually done on the field. Only 61 batters he's faced so far this season. Let's go down and take a look at the lineup here for the Milwaukee Brewers. Outside of Contreras and Adames, who are very good hitters, they've struggled against left-handed pitching over the past 30 days. The rest of that lineup, Ben, Churio, 553 weighted on base percentage, Hoskins, 405, Sanchez, 342, Perkins, 454, Ortiz, 353, Frelick, 403, and Montecchio, 442. Now, of course, you want to focus on and say how many runs we're going to get out of the Dodgers. And in the focus of the lineup today, expected to be back, I'm showing Mookie Betts in the lineup. So we go Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Hernandez, Smith, Lux, Rojas, Kiermaier, and Hernandez. 2 really good-looking lineups. And if Betts is back in, we are going to get over 8 runs in this game. Forget about aside and taking a coin flip if Kershaw can bounce back. Those 2 lineups should be ready to go tonight in Milwaukee.
When Mookie Betts got injured, he was batting .304, had 10 home runs and 40 RBIs. He was a hefty favorite to win the National League MVP award in front of his teammate and current hefty favorite Shohei Ohtani. But of course, Mookie Betts has not played now in nearly 2 months since Sunday, June 16th. An added piece to this Dodgers lineup, getting healthier and healthier at the right time. But he will not play shortstop where he has been for this season in Los Angeles. He'll return to right field where he is more comfortable to ease back into the rotation. The Dodgers sweeping the Pirates this weekend. Now they head to Milwaukee. The Brew Crew nearly sweeping the Reds, but Cincinnati winning the finale yesterday 4-3. The Atlanta Braves are struggling at this moment. They have dropped 7 of their last 8 games. They now go to San Francisco to take on the Giants. What a pitching matchup we have. The National League Cy Young favorite in Chris Sale against the reigning NL Cy Young winner in Blake Snell. San Francisco, a home underdog, minus 112 to Atlanta, minus 104 on the other side. That total no longer 7 DRS. It is dropped to just 6.5.
Absolutely, it should be dropping at this point. You take a look at, Chris Sale right now at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Who's going to win the Cy Young Award for the National League? It's Chris Sale right now, and rightfully so. He has been that good. This is a true pitcher's ballpark. But I want to focus actually on the other side here. It's Blake Snell. My goodness, you want to talk about shot out of a cannon. His last 118 batters that he's faced, how about a strikeout percentage here of 39%? That's outrageous. How about taking a look at the ISO power number against, 073, weighted on base percentage, 157. Looking at that Atlanta Braves lineup, who outside of Jorge Soler is the only legitimate bat going up against left-handed pitching, which means the rest of the lineup in a pitcher's ballpark against maybe the most dominant pitcher right now in baseball, that doesn't hold up. Do I think it goes under 6.5? Yes, I do. But I'm more likely to say I have the better lineup at the plate and the better pitcher on the mound, even though I do think Sale is in line to win a Cy Young tonight. I think I'm going to take Snell. Plus 100, sign me up there for Snell and the Giants.
Sale, the odds-on favorite to win the National League Cy Young Award at minus 125. Blake Snell won the award last year in San Diego, has had a wild 2024 season plagued by injuries, but in 4 starts in July, he did not earn a decision, but only gave up 2 earned runs in total. Now in August, he has won his last 2 starts. He is 2-3 with a 4.31 ERA. San Francisco, meanwhile, has won 8 of its last 11 games. The San Diego Padres have won 16 of their last 19. They're a home favorite today against the Pittsburgh Pirates, minus 164 on the money line. DRS, the Buccos have dropped 7 straight.
Yeah, quickly on this, Musgrove looks like he's going to get back on the mound, so sometimes you have a little bit of angst maybe betting on that side as such a heavy favorite. But Marco Gonzalez pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates, terrible against lefties, terrible against righties, red-hot offense for the Padres. Oh, boy, just got a little bit harder to make the playoffs here tonight for those Pittsburgh Pirates, that's for sure.
Yeah. 7 straight L's at this moment. After splitting a 4-game set this weekend against divisional foe, the Twins lost their final 2 games to Cleveland, another divisional rival to start off this week for the Twins against the Kansas City Royals. Minnesota, a -162 favorite, a total of 8 tonight at Target Field in the Twin Cities. Pablo Lopez gets the start for Minnesota. On the other side for Kansas City, it's Brady Singer. DRS, only a half game separates these two teams and where they stand in those standings. Cleveland has a 3.5 game lead for the top spot in the American League Central over Minnesota, who's a half game in front of KC, but also spot 2 and 3 in the American League wildcard race. The Twins, a half game up over the Royals. An important midweek set gets underway tonight.
That is a big midweek game set that's going to shape up. But by the way, when you take a look at the Pablo Lopez side of things, his ERA over the past 60 days isn't that bad at 3.88, but one of the better xFIP minus numbers over those past 60 days. So analytically, he's the better pitcher than Brady Singer is on the mound today. But also, both of these lineups are very good. So if we're lining up and saying, all right, 78 degrees in Minneapolis, that's very good temperatures for them. Wind slightly blowing out to left field. That total that I'm looking at for these two good pitchers, I wonder if that sticks tonight. And also, is it more of a playoff atmosphere because of how close these two teams are at this point? If I do think the better pitcher is Lopez, maybe at a -125, -135 price point would make sense. That price point's too high for me to take the Minnesota Twins. I'm probably looking more towards the underdog in this environment. But as I said, the two lineups do present themselves well, but both of these pitchers also. Probably a slight lean to the under. I don't know if we get 9 runs, but they should approach that 7 or 8 range at that point. But for me, that +128, that sticks out more than the -152 price. If I think we're basically in a coin flip type of an environment with maybe just home field advantage for Minnesota, I probably would lean on the Kansas City Royals in this spot here.
Also, just something to note, KC played in one of those rivalry weekend series that we saw around the bigs. It was the White Sox and the Cubs. Chicago taking both of those. The Show Me State Showdown between the Cardinals and the Royals. Both of those sets, just 2 games. So KC had a rare Sunday off in Major League Baseball before this trip to the Twin Cities. All right, the Houston Astros have won 5 straight. They are tied right now with Seattle atop the American League West. 1 less win, but 1 less loss for the Astros at this moment. Houston on the road tonight in Tampa to take on the Rays. The Stros, a favorite. Framber Valdez has been sensational for the Astros. It's why Houston is a road favorite tonight. 7.5 is the total in the Trop.
I think they should be a road favorite, too. So I don't mind that -125 or so price point. But if I'm looking at that total 7.5, I don't think we get to 8 runs. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Taj Bradley got beat up a little bit in his last start, but he's been spectacular typically at home this season. And over the past 60 days, even with some of those starts, an 81 xFIP minus number with an ERA that approaches just below 2, which is fantastic. But Framber Valdez, the best pitcher by far in that Houston lineup here, and also talking about not playing in Houston, which technically is a hitter's ballpark, but playing in Tampa Bay, which is a pitcher's ballpark, instead of taking the side itself, which I do think Houston probably will win this game. I don't think we get 8 runs here. I'll take the under 7.5 here.
When you look at Framber Valdez, DRS, for the Astros, they have won his last 8 starts. Houston as a team. Valdez himself has earned a winning decision in 6 of those 8. The Astros at only -126 at this moment. Could the reigning World Series champs be out of the American League postseason here very soon? The Rangers in danger. 7.5 games back of the 2 top teams in the AL West, Houston and Seattle. A full 10 games out of a wild card spot in the American League. The Red Sox now fall to 3 games out of a wild card spot in the AL. They got swept this weekend at home in Fenway by those Astros. Boston riding a 4-game losing skid, slightly favored at home today, remaining in Fenway to snap the skid and get back into the win column. Do you agree with the odds?
The odds do make sense. I actually think they're a little bit short technically because the Texas Rangers on the mound with Tyler Mahle, he did have a good start coming back here into Major League Baseball in 2024. ISO power number against those 21 batters, 050, weighted on base percentage, 263. But you're also taking a look at a Boston team, particularly at home against right-handed pitching, that's absolutely matched. Their last 30 days, first 4 batters in the lineup, weighted on base percentages, 462, 434, 403, and 476. Connor Wong is in that 5th spot today, not so good. But then you get to the next 3 batters, weighted on base percentages against right-handed pitching over the past month. Smith, 389, Sogard, 380, and Rafaela at 368. But also, if I'm looking at an angle from this game, do I think Boston wins? Probably so. But Brian Bayo is on the mound. He really struggles, not only the past 30 days, Ben, but the entire season against left-handed batters. Maybe just a Corey Seager RBI prop who threw his last 68 plate appearances against right-handed pitching, a 328 ISO and a weighted on-base percentage of 425, and had a very good day yesterday, even in a losing effort for the Rangers against the New York Yankees. So I'm thinking RBI prop for Seager, but also still think that the Boston Red Sox end up pulling this game out.
An early week start for our guy, Luis, don't call him, heel on the bump today for the Yanks. And DRS, from where we showed this line and asked Tom Vecchio for his handicap, it has worked in favor of New York on the road today against the White Sox. Now, minus 330. To lay the run and a half with the pinstripes on the road in the South Side is minus 210. So, Donnie, asked Tom, how do you approach a game with a greater than $3 line in that money line number? I ask you the same question. What's the approach?
Here's the crazy thing. Let's just say if it was Chris Sale on the mound for the New York Yankees as the best pitcher technically on the card today, XFIP minus-wise, over the past 60 days. You go, yeah, that makes some sense here because we don't know what we're going to get out of Kai Busch. He had struggled a little bit in AAA. Second start, I believe, in Major League Baseball this year on a bad baseball team. They shouldn't win. But when you take a look at Luis Gil, he's got a 114 xFIP minus, which is above average over the past 60 days. An ERA of close to 5, an xFIP number that's high, and a Sierra number at about 4.41. It's not as if you're getting like a super dominant pitcher. Is he the better pitcher in this game? Yes. Or the better team, the New York Yankees? But goodness gracious, minus 330 price on the road against a pitcher that technically has been average at best over the past 60 days shows you how bad the White Sox are. For me, probably just looking at Soto with a hot bat yesterday, now facing another left-handed pitcher, which he's done extremely well over the past 30 days. Maybe an RBI prop, home run prop, or some total basis prop on Soto makes more sense to me because you figure if they win and win going away, Soto's probably going to be a big deal, and you don't have to lay minus 330 in order to get that victory.
2 home runs for Juan Soto yesterday in the series finale win over Texas. The White Sox snapped their 21-game losing skid on Tuesday. They lost to the A's the next day. They fired Pedro Grifol as the manager. They've lost 2 straight. DRS, enjoy the money line. We'll talk tomorrow. More of the early line next.